Well, as you took a look at the video of the two farmers that are growing on the south and the north side of Grainland, we also took off and did a little individual thing of Dax. Dax has an incredible hobby. You would think it's kind of connected to his farming, but when you really take a look at it, it's quite different. So we took him off and went down the road a little bit and went down to his shop area, and we took some pictures of Dax Kimishew's hobby. So let's take a look at that. Well, Dax, we talk about the farm operation, and you've got some equipment here. Kind of tell us what these two pieces of equipment are right here. What do you use them for?
Well, generally, most of them are tractors. The tractors are the power source, wheel tractors. This one right here is a John Deere that's a low-profile tractor, and used to use in the orchards, almonds and English walnuts. Front loader on it, and on the front of it is a brush rake. If we prune out limbs and we lay them across the row, you take this through and you get a small load of limbs and you haul it out of the orchard to get it out, to either burn it or pile it for to be shredded later on.
Now this one here behind you is a little bit bigger, looks like.
Yeah, that's an older model. That's a 1959 John Deere model 720 diesel. So it's an early diesel tractor that John Deere.
You still using that?
We don't use that one much. It mainly for show and you know, parades and that sort of thing. So
back in there's a little bitty one with a tread on it.
Yeah, a little crawler, John Deere 420 crawler, and that's a similar thing. We use it a little bit every now and then to plant some weed up at Tactic Ranch or whatever. It's just we use it a little bit, fired up and run it about once or twice a year.
I noticed they all are painted somewhat the same, Dax. They seem to be green with yellow. Is there a significance there?
That's the colors of John Deere, and that's just what John Deere paints them, and from the very beginning, we're green with yellow.
And it seems like you have a few John Deere pieces of equipment.
Oh, yeah, just a few, yeah.
So what have you got down here as we kind of step around here?
This is another orchard tractor. You can see we got small tires on the front, low profile, again, low for in the limbs.
Well, this is what we did with hot rods, Dax.
Yeah,
we
you
lowered the front end and big in the back. Yeah.
Same thing, but different reason. But you can see when we buy a new orchard tractor, it only stays new for one day, and then it gets all scratched up from the limbs.
Well, this is an older one here.
Yeah, this is 2003, 2004. So.
Really old.
Yeah, real old.
2003. I see some blue things back in here we can't quite pick up.
Yeah, those are nut sweepers, and then when we shake the nuts off the trees, they fall on the ground. Then you got to push them out away from the tree and blow the nuts out of the strip. And so that's what those do. Those will be pulled out here pretty quick, and we're going to be cleaned up, serviced up, ready to go for another harvest.
Maybe we'll come out when you're doing that and shoot some stuff that we can add into here.
It's kind of neat. Yeah, we did a quick one.
Now you've got a red one over here. What's this thing? Because
well, that's a little different crop. Well, first of all, this orange one, that's a flail mower. We mow the weeds in the orchard with that, and that's just hooked up there. It's not being used right now. That thing is an edible bean harvester. Edible bean harvester. Dry beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, baby lima beans.
So when we go to the store and get our can of beans, chances are it comes through this piece of equipment.
Ran through something similar like that to get harvested. And it's powered off a bigger row crop tractor, and we grow a few beans every year, and it's just stored right now because harvest isn't until late September.
What kind of beans do you grow?
We grow cranberry beans and yellow Parano beans.
Cranberry beans?
Cranberry beans.
I see.
And they're, I might find a few later in the front end, but it's a bean, and we sell a lot in the Mexican grocery stores. So, because that's what their main, they eat a lot of beans, let's put it that way, so Hispanic.
So, what have I got over here?
A lot of junk. That's the boneyard for antique tractors, and which I do as a hobby, restore those as a hobby, and I've done it for 25, 26 years. And those are kind of parts tractors out there. There's a few that will probably get restored.
Well, you talk about restoring.
Yeah.
Why don't we walk across here into a little building? Well, this is a little different looking area here, Dax, because all of these pieces of equipment look to me like they're not being used on a day-to-day basis.
No, they aren't. They're mainly parade and show tractors for as a hobby. I've done it for 25 or 26 years, and my son has to work helps me to take them from a real rough case and restore them, and take them to shows and parades. We're actually headed to a show in the next week up in Brooks, Oregon, and then another one up in Linden, Washington, way up almost to the Canadian.
Well, let's talk about this big one right here. What is this and what year is this?
This is a 1952 John Deere Model A, and it's called a high crop. It's elevated in clearance to go over taller crops, tomatoes, sugar cane. They used them down the south of sugar cane. This one was probably used in tomatoes here in Northern California.
So you buy it in this condition?
No, I restored it years ago. This was restored probably in the early 90s, and one of the first ones I did.
Well, why don't you move around and tell me what the two are behind it?
Well, right behind it is a Model H, and it's an H wide front with tall rear tires, called an HWH, H wide I, and they only build 125 of those, so it's kind of a rare tractor. And used for cultivation of small farms. It's only about 11 horsepower. So
well, let me ask you this, Dax. There's one thing that's going to be kind of obvious. Everything is green and yellow.
Yeah.
And John Deere signs are everywhere.
Yeah.
Does the John Deere company know of your existence and what you've done?
Well, yeah, we've done it a number of years, and so I've been to various shows in the Midwest. We go every year to stuff back there, and you build a connection with a lot of the collectors. Deere and Company knows about it, and I've been in some magazine articles in the past. This last March, they contacted me about coming and filming that tractor back there,
the last one,
1934 Model A, put on their 2018 calendar. So that was a pretty big honor. So they came out, sent out a photographer and a representative, and great guys, and we had a good time, and we shot that one in very small.
Now, what year again is that one?
1934.
The 1934 Model A.
Model A, John Deere, yeah.
Well, I got a 1934 Model A, and it doesn't quite look like that.
A different color, probably, too.
It's a different color, yeah. So all of these tractors in here, then, are not tractors you originally bought new.
None of them are, I believe. No. They've all been bought as collectors, and we restore some, and then I leave some in the original condition, like this G, and there's a John Deere Model G, it's a 38 Model G, and there's a 35 Model B over there.
So tell us about this one here, because the yellow's kind of faded.
Yep.
And I'm not sure I could call all of that green, but
no, it's patina. You know, you've been around antique cars enough that people talk about the original condition and patina.
Well, we call them rat rods.
Well,
when they're totally unrestored.
This tractor probably is worth more than a restored tractor because you can't make them look like this anymore. So I kind of.
What year is this one?
38.
1938. And where did you pick this up?
This I bought out of Michigan.
And was it in this kind of condition?
It was just like this. It actually came with steel wheels on it, and I have those still, but I put rubber wheels on it just easier to show on rubber than steel wheels.
So this was used out on a farm for a number of years?
Yeah, up in Minnesota. It was shipped into Minnesota, so you can contact Deere, and they have an archive, so they tell you what the day this tractor was built and where it was shipped to. So it was shipped to Fruita, Minnesota. And so he spent his life there. The farmer at the time had it, took very good care of it, kept it inside, and so it retained that look to it. So rather than rusting away.
I see on the other side of the big door there, that's your shop.
That's the shop.
So I assume most of the restoration you and your son do is in that area.
Yeah, there's one in progress there up on a dolly, and then I'm working on a box wagon, 1935 John Deere box wagon right now. So always a project going on around here. We can't stand around and not have something going on.
Well, Dax, I assume that you're not going to use many of these tractors here in the harvest this year.
No, these will sit here and get dusty.
So the first ones we looked at are the ones that
those are the workhorses. Those are the ones that pay the bills. Yeah.
Just before we leave, what's this little piece of equipment over here?
Well, the two-bottom plow?
Yeah.
That's just a nice original John Deere number 40 two-bottom plow, or 40 or 44, I'm not sure which one, but it's one I bought out of Oregon, out of a barn, and just leave it the way it is. It's just nice to...
What year do you think was that?
You know, I'm going to say that was probably in the early 40s.
Okay, because it's got the steel wheels.
Steel wheels, which was an option. You get rubber tires as an option, but it costs more.
And this was to be pulled behind a tractor?
About behind the Model B or Model A.
So that one back there is going to be in the calendar.
Yeah, that would have pulled it. Okay. So, yeah.
Next to that is something in wood. What's that?
That's a manure spreader, Model E John Deere manure spreader, original condition. The wheels have been repainted. The guy I got it from, they painted them. and some of the green has been painted on it, but the wood on it is all original. It didn't haul many loads of manure, because you can tell what manure would do.
Yeah, what manure would do. And that's wooden.
That's wood. Yeah,
That's
that's all wood.
And what year would that have been?
That is probably out of, they started building these in the 20s and went through the 30s with them, so until they changed and modified, improved them. So from there. But that was probably be late 20s, running that way. So.
Well, I think your hobby is quite interesting, but it seems attached to your farm operation too.
Yeah, it is. It's, I've always liked tractors, and I kind of went to some shows with my father back in 1990 and kind of got the bug to start dragging these in, and that's what I started doing.
Did your dad get involved in that?
He was involved, he liked to go to the shows and take pictures and do that sort of thing. He was involved with bringing some of the first ones in. Unfortunately passed away in December of 1990, so he was not able to see it all the way through.
How old were you when you moved into this area?
We moved into this area when I was 11 years old.
11 years old.
Yeah.
So you've been here, and you also have a number of brothers that are in the area.
Yeah, I have three brothers, or two brothers in the area, another one in Sacramento.
And some of your brothers involved in the farm operations.
Yeah, they all own property. I farm the orchards for them and farm orchards for me, and so it's a big family. I have a sister and brother-in-law that own some orchards too. So we get along really good together. Great family.
Well, Dax, you've got a good hobby.
Thanks.
And I've seen a bunch of your stuff. We'll try to come around and maybe during harvest time or when you're doing some stuff, shoot some video.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Yep.